Hey, what's up guys? My name is Michael Westbrook. As always, thank you for checking out this video. Today's video is all about my brand new IR pack. I'm going to tell you a little more about it and why it's different than anything else out there. All right, let's get into it. As you could have guessed, the demo you just heard was recorded using all of my brand new IRs. I'm using amps here in my studio through a couple of 2-notes captors. Now, that being said, these IRs work for all kinds of formats, whether you're playing in Iridium or in Walrus ACS1, HX Stomp, whatever, they are delivered at all the formats and at 200 milliseconds and 500 milliseconds. So they're going to work for whatever you're using. Now, you might remember a few videos back, I was up at my buddy John Driscoll Hopkins' studio and I had a brand new cab. Now, I actually got this cab earlier this year. I believe it was in January sometime, and have been planning on making these IRs and, you know, getting everything in line for quite some time now. But in that video, I talk a little bit more about this new cab. It is a Carry Right tribute cab. If you haven't seen that and you want more info on it, definitely go check it out. But the cool thing about that cabinet is that it's a 212 cabinet. It has an oval back. It's a bit oversized compared to a normal 212, and it is just a very special sounding cab. It's very articulate, it's very balanced, and it's really like no other cab that I've heard. And so I wanted to make some IRs of it and kind of capture its sonic characteristics. For these IRs, I tried a lot of different speakers and a lot of different combinations of speakers. And for these, I landed on a Celestion Blue, which is an Alnico speaker, and then a ceramic Celestion G12H 55 Hertz. Now, this speaker is probably a little less familiar to most people, but if you were to look at it, it might just look like a greenback. It has that familiar green plastic ring on the back, but it actually varies from kind of what people think of as the traditional greenback, and that it has the H magnet on it, which is a heavier magnet, and then it also has a 55 Hertz cone, which is considered the bass cone. This gives it a lower resonance point and overall makes it a little darker speaker. Now, I like this speaker with the blue Alnico just because it gives a little more weight in the bottom end, a little more bass, and it's just a darker speaker. And I felt like these two speakers really complemented each other well. Now, up until this point, you might be thinking, yeah, but what's so different about it? I mean, these are speakers that anybody can go out and buy and make IRs of. And yes, that's true. But I haven't seen anybody do any IRs with this style of cabinet. As well as, I think the most unique aspect about these IRs was the capture process. Now, I mentioned to you earlier that I went up to my buddy John's studio, and rather than go into an amp room or a vocal booth, a smaller room where most of the time you would put a guitar cabinet, I actually put the cabinet out in the live room, which is a large room. It's a fantastic sounding room, incredible drum room, and we mic the amp up in there. Now, I think the big difference that you hear with these IRs is that they have a little air around them. There's a little space around them, and it just makes it feel a little more alive. It's not in a very dry room, but you kind of hear a bit of that room around it. Now, that might not be for everyone and every style of music that you play, but I have really enjoyed just the extra kind of added thing that it adds to it. When kind of being them back and forth, it's definitely noticeable. There's just a little bit more presence around it, not necessarily in high end, but just kind of that air and space and room. I think another added benefit of recording in a large room like that is that you don't have resonances that sometimes small rooms have, and you don't have that kind of dead sound where a room is really dead, there's no life to the room, and I think that really comes out in these IRs. Initially, when I was doing the planning of releasing a new IR pack, I wanted to only release 10 or 20 IRs. The market is so saturated with different IRs, and when you get a new IR pack, it just, some have hundreds of different options, and it's overwhelming, and I find myself even just flipping through IRs, just trying to find a sound and not making music. And if you've watched some of my other videos, you know that I'm all about working quickly and efficiently and worrying less about gear and less about getting great sounds and more about just making music. Now, this is easier said than done when coming up with an IR pack, especially one for a lot of different people and a lot of different uses. So in this IR pack, you will find 40 different raw IRs, which are just a microphone combination with the different speakers. So there's 20 for the Blue and 20 for the G12H, as well as over 60 blended and EQ options. Now, these are what I consider to be more finished IRs. They're gently EQ'd, and they have, maybe a couple to a few mics blended together for a great sound. And when I sent these IRs to my beta testers, just people kind of testing the IRs and checking them out for me, they really dug the blended options, and most of the feedback was that they got a great sound just immediately. They swapped it out for what they've used previously, and it was just immediately better. I was pleased to hear that, because when you're making IRs, it's kind of a tedious, maddening process, and at some point you just lose perspective. So that's one reason why I had a variety of different people test them with a lot of different, a lot of different formats and a lot of different modelers and amps and all that, just to see how they compared to others. And thankfully, all the feedback has been amazing, and people really seem to dig these IRs and feel like they offer something special. Of course, there's a link down in the description where you can find the IRs to buy and just more info about them, what mics we used, what specific preamps we used, more about the process and all of that. So if you're interested, definitely go check them out there. They'll also be on sale right now for an introductory price. So if you're thinking about picking them up, now's a good time. The last thing that I wanted to say is something that I say at the end of a lot of my videos, but buying something from my website is a great way to support the channel here. It helps me make videos. Now, unfortunately, I could not dedicate the time it takes to make videos and create content unless I'm making some kind of income from it. I love doing this. It's a great creative outlet, and I love helping people and teaching them things and giving them insight into what it's like being a working musician and doing all of the variety of different things that I'm lucky enough to do for a living. But that being said, I still need to make some kind of income from it. Now, I know this is something that a lot of guitar creators, guitar content creators don't talk about, but the money that I make from views here is very, very little, and doesn't even close to justify the amount of time and effort I have to put into videos. So that's why I make presets and make IRs and sell these different things. Buying those things is a way that you directly support the channel and support me making videos. Now, all of that being said, I don't just make those things just to make money. I want to offer quality products, and I think that these new IRs really hit that. I think that I'm offering something unique and something different that I haven't quite seen before, but it also stands up to some of the top IR creators that I compared it to. And the people who reviewed these and checked them out for me seem to agree. They seem to say that these are going to be some of their new go-to IRs. And I couldn't be more thankful for that. I put a lot of time, a lot of effort, and just a lot of investment into making something great. I don't want this to come across as some kind of sales pitch or anything like that, just really telling you guys where I'm at and some insight into all of this. If you've stuck it out this far, thank you for watching. If you haven't already, definitely hit that subscribe button and hit the thumbs up if you like this video. All right, until next time, I'll see you out there.